welcome to Gamepad Inc. I'm Nate, and this is Paint It Back. Well, that was right on cue. Paint It Back is a Picross puzzle game. I don't know if I can call it Picross. I think Nintendo now owns the word Picross, but it's the same game. It is a game where you use logic to paint pictures, basically. It's kind of like a paint by numbers in a more literal sense. So let's get into what this game is. This is a mobile and PC game. I played a little bit on the mobile. I'll talk about it here in a second, but I played most of it, and I played a lot of this on PC. So let's get into the basics here so you can understand what Picross, or I guess I should call them by their official name, nonograms, although no one calls them that, what nonogram puzzles are like. So let's just jump into one here. This is an early one. What this game does pretty well is it does at least let you have a variety of difficulty levels. So most of these in the early ones are obviously going to be easy, but even as we get into the later ones, you'll see that you can choose easier or harder difficulties, which is a good thing. I like that. That's cool. So this is your standard Picross nonogram puzzler. What you're looking at here is a field where there may or may not be areas that need to be filled in, and what determines whether or not those things are going to be filled in are the numbers to the side. This is all going to be pretty basic for people who have played this before, but for those of you who haven't, what this says is in this column, this row, like for instance, there are 5 boxes that need to be filled in. Now if you notice, we're playing a 5x5 puzzle here, so that means every single one of these boxes needs to be filled in. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill that in. And just like that, you'll see that this thing turned gray, which means, hey, you're done with this row or column. And the same is true for these guys up here. So the column numbers at the top here refer to the number of boxes in that column that need to be filled in. If they go gray, that means that they are done. You have fulfilled that column or row's requirements. And so the rest of it is safe to X out. You know that nothing else is going to be in that area. And now we're left with kind of figuring a way how to finish out this puzzle. So obviously we've got 3 and 3 here, and there's only 3 squares that can be filled in. Now that we've X'd out the first and last column, so we're just going to fill in that 3. We'll do the same thing down here. And now we've got 4, 4, and 4. The problem is we don't know which of these squares in either one of these columns we can fill in safely, because it could be this, or it could be this. A good Picross game will never force you to guess, and so what we need to do is just deduce how we can figure out which one of these is going to be filled in. And if you look down here, you'll see there's actually 2 numbers on this one. What that means is that you've got 2 groups of filled in areas. In this case, you've got 1 filled in area, and then separately you'll have another area that's filled in with only 1 consecutive tiles. So in practice, each time you have 2 numbers, whatever number is separated here, if this is like a 2 and a 4, you just know that there's going to be a group of 2, and then somewhere else on that same row or column, a group of 4. They will be separated by at least 1 space, 1 blank. So in this case, we know that we've got 2 single filled in squares that need to be filled in on this row, but they can't be consecutive. So we've only got 3 squares here, which means that the only one that makes sense, if we have to have a space between them, is this one and this one. So we're going to X out that one safely. And look at that. Wouldn't you know it, we've already filled, as a result, we've fulfilled requirements for the 4 on this column and the 4 on this column. We filled in all 4 boxes. And the only one that's left is this guy. I think he can't have been down at the bottom. So that's it. We've completed our first puzzle. Way to go. All of you following along at home, you're now Picross experts. So that is a very low poly rendering of Calisthenics with Farmer Joe. And that's kind of the basics. Things get more complicated as you go along. And if you're a puzzle purist and you don't want to see anything more, you don't want to see the rest of the puzzles, the finished versions of them rather, maybe stop watching and go ahead and jump in if you know you like Picross games. I will say right off the bat, this is a solid one. They do some funny stuff with the puzzles too. I mean, early on you don't have a lot of flexibility because you've only got so many boxes and so much space to play with. The canvases are so small, but later on things get a lot more intense. So let's take a look at a more complicated way. We'll kind of ease into things here. This is one of the things that kind of drives me crazy about this game is the UX is all set up for mobile games. Like right now, I'm having to tap and drag and hold with my mouse here to scroll left and right. Which is, it's fine, it's functional, and it makes sense as to why they're doing that because they're trying to go on mobile as well, but in practice it feels a little sluggish. And the same thing is true for when they get the puzzles here. Let's go ahead and do something like, let's try a little bit bigger. How about, let's do this one. So by default, I wasn't touching these buttons last time. I was using the mouse buttons. You can press left mouse button to paint, and you can press right mouse button to draw X's. They don't explain that. That's just something I kind of figured out after a couple of hours of playing this. They teach you to just use these buttons to always switch between formats. So that's a waste of time. Another one of those like weird mobile artifacts. They also have an undo function, which is nice, but you have to tap that thing a bunch in order to go back a bunch of steps. So it's nice though. It's a lifesaver. Believe me, I've gotten into some of these larger puzzles and realized I've made a mistake. It's just a few taps ago. I need to go back. So that's again a lifesaver. So let's go look at this one. This one's a bit bigger. We're working with a 10 by 10 now. You'll get a little clue here, which is puppy walking the plank, which can be helpful. But if you're doing things right, you're hopefully not guessing at what the picture is and trying to figure out what the artist might have been drawing. So we got 10 by 10. We got 2 rows here that have all 10 filled. That's an easy way to start. We've already got these figured out, which solves actually these first 2 rows, and solves all of these rows for their groups of 2. And when you have multiple groups like this, one thing I didn't mention earlier was that they're going to be in order. So there's going to be starting from top to bottom on this row. There will be a group of 3, a group of 1, and then a group of 2. So we know that in all of these cases, this group of 2 is actually going to be at least separated at the bottom here. So that means already looking at this row, we know there's only 2 left over here that it could possibly be. And we're just gonna keep going like this. We've got 8 on here, and it's already started here. The only way for it to go is to finish up this way and close off that row, or that column rather. We've got 5 here. Close that off. Now we don't know which 2 this could be left here, so we got to come back to that. We do know, however, that we've got a 1 and a 5 here, and so this is where we start getting into some more of the advanced techniques with Picross. You've got a group of 5 over here. We don't know exactly where it is, but we do know that it's at least going to be over here. And as a result, we know it can't go any more to the right than an additional 1 square, which means there's at least 4 squares of that 5 here. The last one could be here, or it could be here. So we'll just leave that off for now. And we can use the same logic to extrapolate down from the top here on the 6, 4, and 5 groups. So the 6 at least has to come out to here, the 4 at least has to come out to here, and the 5 at least has to come out to here. And just like that, we've completed this row. There's been 4 filled in there, and we're already starting to narrow down where that 2 is in here, that group of 2 in this column. And even though we don't know exactly where that 2 is, we do know that it's either here between these 2 boxes, or it's here. Because remember, these have to be consecutive, so I can't do this. So either way, we know that this square is filled. Where do we want to go next? Well, we've got this 2 group figured out here. This other 2 groups already been started, so we can finish that off. X that out. We know that, gosh, there's so many places we could go. We know that there has to be a group of 3 and a group of 1 in this column. There's no way for a group of 3 to fit in this one, so it must, in this space down below here, so it must be here. This 4, we can extrapolate out here on this row. Don't know exactly where the last one is, but we know it's not. We know it's not here. We know it's also not going to be here. So now we can figure out where that 2 is, and I feel like I'm just talking to myself. Hopefully I'm not explaining things in a way that's confusing anybody. The game does have a good tutorial, so if you're new to Picross or a little unsure about what's going on, I think there are some systems here that'll kind of like guide your hand, not only just the tutorial, but there's a helping hand option you can turn on, which is kind of nice. And what's, like I mentioned earlier, there are, as you get into the game, there are different difficulty levels. So like let's say we wanted to do this one. I love their titles for these things. Like in Nintendo Picross, like all the stuff that you're painting is always so family friendly and just rosy. You know, it's like, oh, here's a train or here's a book, and this is, you know, it's kind of irreverent. It's a little tongue in cheek. There's nothing like risque or anything, but it's just there's a sense of humor. So in this case, for instance, there's a normal difficulty and a pro difficulty. So let's try the pro difficulty. Start to get into some more advanced strategy here. So we've got a 16 by 16. Oh god, okay. This is hard to explain and talk at the same time. Sorry, to solve and to talk at the same time. So we got a 16 here, which we can go ahead and fill in. We know there's no 1. What else we got? We can cut out. We know there's only a group of 5 in this row, so we can cut out that. And that, because we know there has to be it can be at maximum 4 away from this one either direction. We know there's got to be a group of 10 in this row somewhere, and the only place for it to make sense is here, because it can't possibly go up there. Which means I can X out all of this. 5 has to come out to here. Okay, we got ourselves some progress. We can do the same thing on this side, looks like. So you can see, like, maybe you can kind of fudge the answer by looking at the puzzle up here, but this game's good in that it doesn't, oh, I went too far there. So it doesn't tell you when you're messing up. It doesn't tell you even right there. It's a good example. I had miscounted this group, and I had drawn in this group of 5 right here. Now the game will let you screw up, and in fact, if you looked up here, it's hard to know if you screwed up. It's almost impossible because you don't know where the painting is going to be. You can maybe kind of fudge it. You can say, I think it probably needs to go in that direction, but you don't know for sure. So I need to make sure this is only a group of 5. So let's X that off, and painting goes back a little bit. So now so I need to fill in 3 here. Oh, nope, that's too much. Okay, group of 2, X those off. The game actually has some cool challenges too, where there are achievements based around asking you to complete puzzles without using any X's at all. So just trying to keep in your head about how where you can't draw and that kind of stuff, which is, let me tell you, that is hard. That is really hard. Even someone who's played quite a number of Picross games like me has a real tough, difficult time with that, even with the smaller size puzzles. So let's see here. But that stuff's cool. It kind of expands the longevity of the game. Another thing that's great about this title is they've opened up Steam Workshop support, so people have gone in and filled out a bunch of their own puzzles. Created their own and allowed those for download, which is great, kind of fun. Some of them are good, a lot of them are bad, but at least it kind of expands your options with the game. So we know this, that's got to be the group of 3 here, because there's not enough space down here. This is a group of 2, which means the 5 has to be this. This has to be that group of 5. And there we go. So this is all done now. We've got a 3 and another group of 3 somewhere in here. 1, 2, 3. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking at, there's 2 groups of 3 here. This is obviously that first group. This is part of that. This one box here. But it could go all the way out to here. But this could be the end of it. So this group of 3 could either go from here to there, or it could go from here to there at both extremes. Obviously, it could also be this. But, gosh, I'm making mistakes all over the place. What that means is that the other group of 3 could be at the leftmost here or here. So I can safely put a dot right there, which lets me connect this to that as part of that group of 5. There's also a group of 4 somewhere in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can color those 2 safely because I know that, again, for the same reasons we just explained, if the 4, this is obviously the group of 5, and the group of 4 has to start somewhere above it, so it could be this at one extreme, or it could be this at another extreme, but both of those examples include these 2 squares. Gosh, okay, so I don't know enough to do anything here still. This could be the 1, or it could be the 3, which means the same thing for this one still, so it's not safe to cut either one of those off. Where else can we go? This has to be, okay, so we've got a group of 5s, and, a group of 5 and a group of 1. So this has to be the group of 1 because there's not enough space for me to put another 1 right here and then separate it. So I'll separate this, which means we know where most of this group of 5 now is. And looking up above, we've got a bunch of larger groups that I can start filling in the majority of them. Actually, I think that can fill this entire thing in because there's only one place for it to go. We've got all these 5s largely being figured out now, which means I can kind of trim the edges down because we've isolated those. What else we got? We've got another 9 here. This can safely go here as well. It's the only place for it. I'm pretty sure this has to be that group of 3 here in the middle. I don't think there's a way for us to, even if there's no way for this to be the group of 4 or the group of 5. There's not enough space on either side for us to fit the 4 and then also the 3, or on this side, or then also the 5 and the 3 on this side. Gosh, I just feel like I'm just making sense only to myself, but hopefully other people can follow this. Which means that the 5 group, where does it have to be? The 5 group can either be here, or it can be here. So that means all of these, at least, are the 5 group. Which means I can cut off this. This entire column is done. This is that group of 4 we were looking for earlier. I can close this off because I know a group of 4 or 5 can't fit in there, which means the 5's down here. There's our group of 3 we were looking for earlier. This column's done now. Here's our group of 3 that we weren't sure about earlier, which means this is an isolated 1 all the way over to the edge. 2, 3, and a 2. So we got our 3. Here's our only 2 that makes sense. And all these can be closed off. Still a lot I'm not sure about with this one. But we're getting close. We're getting close. Worry not, dear friends. You know, I have not played the thing that's I do not own a Nintendo 3DS, but the one thing that's made me want to get it more than anything is Picross 3D. I'm really curious how this game translates to 3D. Maybe someday I'll pick that up. Perhaps. That'll definitely be the thing. More than like a Zelda game, more than anything else. I think that's going to be the thing that really drives me to buy a 3DS. I just love these kind of games, and they're great for mobile. You know, they're great on the go because you can just play one and then be done with it for a little while. So we've got no left up here and some isolated 1s. And that's it. We just did a normal difficulty puzzle. I might try to take a crack at a larger puzzle at a harder difficulty just to get into it here with you guys, to show you what it's like. Nothing too crazy though, because I don't have too much time, but let's try this one. Let's try a master difficulty. So this is where things start getting crazy. Hopefully people are still watching this. So we got 0 on this bottom rung here, so I can go ahead and X off that entire. Oops, gosh, this is where the undo just kind of gets laborious. It's nice, but nice to have, but it feels like you could have just let me hold that down or something. So there's 30 by 20, so I can safely write off all of those. Oh boy. Okay, so we've got 19 here, so I can safely go out to 19. And now that I've done that, I can also safely go back all the way up to here, I think, right? No, I can fill this whole thing in. What am I doing? miscounting. At 19, I X'd off the bottom there. That leaves only one left. So 13 comes all the way out to here. Start filling in some stuff. This is... I'm not going to bother trying to explain everything I'm doing here. Hopefully people don't think I'm some sort of wizard, because I'm not. 2, 2. Okay, that's got to stay. 7. That's done. This goes all the way out. This goes all the way out. This goes all the way out. So we got a 1 and a 10. Now, there are people who are really crazy good at this game. I've played, like I say, quite a bit of it, but by no means an expert. The worst is getting to the end of these puzzles, and because they don't tell you when you screw up, just finding out that you've made a mistake, 20 minutes ago, and there's no solving it. There's no easy way to unravel it because you've made all these other assumptions based on based on what you've already done. Like, you've made decisions that have impacted other bad decisions. So you're almost better off just like restarting when you screw up a puzzle in this game. 3, 3, 1. Okay, so I don't know if we can do much more down here. We can cut this guy off, which closes off this. Closes off this. Got a 16 here, huh? So I can go all the way down. 3. There's gotta be a 1 in here, which means there's a 4 somewhere. This is all done. This is a 1. And this has to be a 1. Okay. Making progress. We got an 8 here. Right? Yeah. Okay, so we can cut this off. This is 5. Gosh. Okay, so we got 12 here. So this can go all the way down to here. And actually, it can go one more, I think. 4, 5, 7. Right? 4. You lose your mind sometimes doing this game. I think that's right. I can definitely do that. Okay. And this can go all the way out to here. Gosh, a 20. Okay, so 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. Means all of this is at least part of that 20. Likewise, all of this is part of that 19 on this row, I think. Yeah. Okay. Back to where we were at. We got an 8 and a 1. We can try to close off some of these. 17 goes all the way down to here. And all the way up here. 2 and 13, 2, 1. Oh, this is interesting. So we've got, this is all closed off because that's 6 right in the middle. We know that's the bottommost group. Okay, got 18 here, which means almost all of this can be assumed to be part of it. A 1 and 16, 3, 13, almost this whole thing. Okay, so this is the 8 on this group. This is the 9, which means there's a maximum of 5 on these sides. That could be part of this 9. And likewise, with this 8, there's a maximum of 4 on that side. So, what does that do? That changes this. This 10 is now contained here. This 12 has to be limited. So, nope, that's too much right there. 3's down here. This 4 is going to take up this entire thing. This 4 is going to take up that entire thing. We got 5's here, 5's there. We have 5's everywhere. 10, 3, that's... Oops. So we got... What is that? 9 here? So at best it can be here, right? Ugh. Getting nervous doing this in front of people with everyone watching. What if I screw up? 19, which means this goes to here now. Good lord, there's a lot of stuff happening now. Okay, so this has to be... I'm all over the map. I'm all over the map. This has to be part of that 2. This one could be a 2 or an 11. No, it's got to be part of the 11. There's not enough left here for an 11 to also fit. So that's convenient. Oh god, I messed up. That's 9. This whole thing has to be okay. Can safely bring that out to there. 2 and 14. I don't think this thing can fit 14 and a 2 down below here, right? Because this is, yeah, I mean that's 11 right here. So this 14 starts here and goes all the way down. This is a 3. This is that 5, which means of this group, this has to be this part of that 5. It's already a 4, so the 2 has to be up here somewhere. What else we got? We've got a 3, a 2, and an 11. A 2. There's not room for another 2 right here. At best, this has to be that second 2, and that's the 4, which makes this a 3 and a 1. I can write off a bunch of this stuff down here now. Looks like. That old row's coming with me. Okay, that solves some of this stuff. Maybe we'll get this thing done before the end of the video. Maybe we actually will do this. Unless I get to the end and find out I totally screwed something up 30 minutes ago. Okay, so this can be filled in. 18 goes all the way to the top. 17 still. I can do one more now. Looks like. I got 16, so I have one more space on that. This 9 has to fit in here, which means this is a 3 now. This is a 5. And all of this stuff is done. This is now at 5. There's no way for this to be part of that 5. This would be a 6 if I were to connect this. So this has to be that first 1, which means there's only 2 1s in that row, that column rather. Okay, so this 19 now has to go all the way to the edge. And we're done with that guy. There's still a 1 somewhere in here, but I don't know where just yet. Okay, so this is a 3. Can't be anything there. There's probably another 3 right here, looks like. Let's go ahead and fill in some of these larger numbers up here. Looks like we're ready to do that. Although, wait, first, before that, let's finish this 9, I think has to fit here. Okay, this 3, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5. 2 is there. 8, almost done. We're gonna do it, kids. We're gonna do it. Oh, this 13 is now blocked off. Beautiful. So that's 11, 12. That 2 is gonna be up here somewhere. This has to be a 1 on that row. I don't know about this 14 yet. So let's say the 14 starts here, goes down. It's a maximum of 13, which means that it has to go at least here, which means it has to at least also include this guy, which means that has to be the case. Which means the 1 has to be up here somewhere. So, what do we got? We got 13, 10, 1. So it can go as far down as this safely. Am I wrong about that? No, this could be an X. That's what I'm wrong about. Okay, so we got 3 here. 4, 4, 3. So this is a 4. What's this guy? This is a 6. So you can cordon him off now. This 9 is already complete. And this 5 is all that's left. Getting down to the nitty-gritty, kids. This is what it's all about. Can I finish? Do I have the stamina? Let me tell you. I think I do. This is a 2 and there's a 2 and a 1 left in this little space here, which means it can only be this. 1's there. 8 is complete. 2 2. There has to be a 1 here. It's happening. It's happening. So 1 in here somewhere. 9 goes all the way out. Okay, we gotta close off some of these things that I've completed. It looks like actually maybe that's the only one I've got. So we've got this has to be an 11 there. Oh no. Oh no, I made a mistake. Okay. That was actually 12. So let's back that up. This. We can do that, but we don't know where that last one in this group of 11 actually is. But that finished off this row. This has to be a 4, 3, 1, and a 4. Yep, that's the only one that makes sense. This is a 4 though. That's the 3. This is done. This has to be a 1. Ah, I'm getting sweaty. I feel like I'm getting sweaty. I'm not really. I'm not that out of shape. Good lord. 14. It's just the pressure. Pressure's getting to me. It's like taking a standardized test with an audience. What do we got left? Got nothing left here. So everything up top's done. We're nearing the very, very end. This column's done. One last one. I did it. I didn't screw it up. Isn't that the most beautiful city skyline you've ever seen? And that's pretty much it. There's also, like I said, there's I mean, these things get really crazy complicated. If you kind of want to see the end of this, you know, like you start seeing some 40 by 30 groups with lots of crazy variations and small patterns that you can't possibly anticipate. The last thing I want to show is the Steam Workshop, which is a really cool thing. Keeps this game alive even after you're done. So I don't know. We got time for a quick one, right? We can do it. Download some ice cream. Only one difficulty option on this one. Should be pretty easy compared to that last one we just did. So we got 15 by 20. Oh man, maybe this is not a good idea. This is gonna go on longer than I want, but 14. Oh, this is the whole throw. It's 14. 12 goes out to here. 10 goes there. 10's got to go all the way out to there. 11. 10, 11. 13's going to come all the way out to here. Okay, we're doing it. We're doing it. Why am I even doing this? Why am I even doing this, kids? This is how addicted to this game I am. Just Picross in general. Like, you put a Picross puzzle in front of me, I'm gonna finish it. Doesn't matter if my house is on fire, my wife is leaving me, anything. My nature dictates that I will finish that puzzle. Puzzle's not better than me. What's that puzzle think he is? 8, so 6. Yeah, that looks right. Okay. We got a 3 here. 8 is done. We got a 1, a 3, and a 1. And a 4. Okay. A 9. This is 7 now. 9 and 2. 3 and 11. Let's go ahead. None of these can work. That can't work because there's a 2 somewhere in here. We've got an 8 here. 2 has to be here. Ooh, we're getting into some tricky stuff now. So the 11 has to stop here because it can't possibly be. It's already 10. So the 11 has to go there, which means I can close off that. And this. This is a 3. 10, 3, Same with this one. This is actually already complete. Got 10. Yep, that's done. We've got 7. There's an 8. 8 goes all the way up. Close that off. What am I missing? This is a 1. 13. That's all I can do in that 13, right? Yeah, but this 9's almost done. This 4 is done. That column, rather. It's 10. So I've got 7 right now. Now I got 8. There's 2 left somewhere. This 2 has to go there. This 3 has to start there then. Okay. The 9 I still can't figure out. This is now a 9. I've got 9 rather. 2, 1, and then there needs to be 1, 2, 3, 4 ones left. Well, I only see 1, 2, 3, 4 spots left. Oh, nope, screw that up. Screwed. Hopefully I didn't. I might have messed this up. I might have miscounted somewhere. Hopefully I didn't, but wouldn't be the first time. Would not be the first time. Oh, it's looking like ice cream. Look at that little sad ice cream. Little worried, sad ice cream. Don't worry, ice cream. I will definitely eat you. 3, 6, 1, 2. A lot of puzzles kind of end like this, where it's just kind of tracing. You really only have one place to go every time. You just keep tracing. Oh, nope. See, almost made a mistake right there. Getting down to it. Ba-bam! You telling me that's not the most beautiful ice cream you've ever seen in your life? Dare you? A little on the nose, the title there, though, buddy. Maybe, you know, Mr. Alex Peter, keep me guessing a little bit. I wonder what burger could possibly be. But that's it. That is Paint It Back. I don't understand why you have to have a Rolling Stone reference in your name, but whatever. It works. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to visit GamepadInc.com to read my webcomic review of this and every other game that I play. Follow us here on YouTube. Subscribe to us. Hit us on Twitter. You can ask us questions, listen to our podcast, watch our videos. We're all over the place. Following us everywhere helps. And I will see you wonderful people next time. Until then, bye-bye.